how do you feel? Because we know it's a tough loss for you, but just what's going through your mind?
What the fuck just happened? Like, what did I get hit with? And couldn't regroup, and I don't know, man.
Tszyu's boxing career is at a crossroads after the Australian suffered a stunning third-round TKO defeat to IBF junior middleweight champion Bakhram Murtazaliev in Orlando on Sunday afternoon. Tszyu was looking to bounce back from a split decision to Sebastian Fundora in March earlier this year, but instead was handed a brutal reality check, with Murtazaliev dominating from the jump. Murtazaliev knocked Tszyu down 3 times in the second round, with the Australian barely making it to the bell and later checked on by the doctor before being cleared to continue. But it didn't take long for Tszyu to find himself on the canvas again, and while the referee told him he would stop the fight after one more knockdown, Tszyu's corner didn't let that happen. Asked to describe how he was feeling, Tszyu replied, "What the f just happened? What did I get hit with? I have to regroup and I don't know, man. Doesn't go your way and you have to bounce back. I was positive after Fundora, but I've got to find some answers after this. It didn't go to script. I felt unbelievable. He got me. He was the better man on the night. We live and we learn." Tszyu also had no answers regarding how the fight had gone so badly in the opening rounds, twice responding to questions with "I can't recall." Main event commentator Ben Damon described the loss as unthinkable and a monstrous upset for the Russian, who boasts a 23-0 record with 17 stoppage wins. "It has been an obliteration in Orlando," Damon said. Tszyu down 4 times and Bakhram Murtazaliev retaining his world title in a one-sided beatdown. Sean Porter expressed strong enthusiasm for the fight between Tszyu and Bakhram Murtazaliev, predicting a victory for Tszyu. He highlighted the match's potential for action, noting that 2 foreign fighters competing on American soil adds to its appeal. Porter encouraged fans to watch, emphasizing that the bout has all the elements to be an exciting event.
I like it. I like it for Tim, and I like it for boxing. The reason why I like it for Tim, I think it's a fight that he's going to win. I like it for boxing because I think it's gonna be action packed, and I think that for me, when you have 2, for the sake of words, foreign fighters fighting on prime, fighting on American soil and all those sorts of things, you need something that's going to sell people.
Russian Bakhram Murtazaliev audibly trolled Tszyu following his brutal TKO defeat of the Australian to retain his IBF junior middleweight belt in Orlando. Tszyu was knocked down several times during the second and third round of the fight from some powerful shots by Murtazaliev before his corner threw the towel in during the third round. Murtazaliev was hoisted onto the shoulders of his team and was heard shouting, "Who's your daddy now?" after taking down the son of the legendary Kostya Tszyu. However, the Russian showed incredible humility in his post-fight interview, labeling Tszyu a warrior before stating he'd like to collaborate with the Aussie in the future. "I would like to wish him all the best. One day I would like to work together," he said. Caleb Plant acknowledged the unpredictability of boxing, noting the many highs and lows the sport brings. He recognized both fighters as great competitors and anticipated a tough fight, expressing no doubt about the challenges they would face in the ring.
Yeah, not expected, but it's boxing, a lot of highs and lows, so.
Yeah, for sure. Crazy, right, Caleb? I don't think anybody gave Murtazaliev a win by knockout.
Maybe not that fast and that early, so.
Yeah.
But both are great fighters, so I knew it was going to be a tough fight.
No doubt, no doubt. Thank you, champ.
Tszyu's tactics in going down to Bakhram Murtazaliev in an obliteration in Orlando have been questioned, with boxing superstar Terence Crawford accusing the Australian of complacency in the shock loss. Veteran combat sports journalist Peter Battle, speaking on Main Event post-fight, felt Tszyu was a little bit arrogant early. "I don't think he earned the right in this fight to dominate. He just thought he could walk him down," Battle said on the Main Event coverage. "To me, when he fought Mendoza, he took his time with Mendoza. He was watchful early, and then in the 3rd or 4th round, he started to apply the pressure. But in this fight, he tried to almost bang early. This is a devastating loss for Tszyu." Boxing legend Sean Porter also added, "The body language of Tszyu was very arrogant. They should not have tried to fight fire with fire. I felt like moving and turning and using the jab would have been the right thing to do." Elsewhere, Crawford, who has held world championships across 4 weight classes and was a long-term target of Tszyu, predicted the Australian's demise. The Australian was hit with a left hook on multiple occasions, and Crawford wrote, "Tim better change up that game plan and start moving his head coming in," on X. Then, after the result was decided, he posted, "Told y'all." Crawford also suggested Tszyu believed Murtazaliev to be an easy opponent, writing, "Tim thought he had an easy one, took this dude lightly, and was worried about other fighters." During the fight, commentator Ben Damon was also left stunned, saying, "That first left hook was a monster. I don't know how he got up," after Tszyu first hit the canvas. From there, it only got uglier, and Damon said the result was unthinkable after the bout came to an end. A monstrous glorious upset for Murtazaliev, Damon said, and the Russian sends Tszyu to Viridian oblivion. It has been an obliteration in Orlando. Tszyu down 4 times, and Bakhram Murtazaliev retaining his world title in a one-sided beatdown. Eriksson Lubin expressed his desire to fight Bakhram Murtazaliev, stating that he had been interested in the matchup even before Tszyu was scheduled to face him. Lubin conveyed his frustration, noting that others had interfered with his plans to make that fight happen.
So obviously, you know, the talk was you versus Tszyu as a potential opponent at 154. This happened, throws a monkey wrench in it. Would you like to see Murtazaliev?
Yeah, I wanted to fight him before Tszyu was scheduled to fight him. I wanted that fight. I've been wanting that fight, but they jumped in the way.
Michael Zarafa says talks have already begun for an all-Australian blockbuster with Tszyu in 2025, stressing his longtime rival is no longer required in the U.S. after being found out. The declaration comes as Zarafa also said Tszyu had finally paid the price for talking fighting arrogant and falling for the ongoing spin of his hype team. While stressing he had only seen highlights of Tszyu's brutal loss in Orlando, Florida, Zarafa accused the title challenger of fighting arrogant and of getting caught up in claims of usurping Hall of Fame father Kostya Tszyu. As you can see now, though, Zarafa added, he's nothing like his father. While the 29-year-old will likely take some time off after this latest loss, Zarafa said he was happy to wait until early the first third of next year for the fight. Australia's boxing bad boy also said he had a simple answer for all those Aussie sports fans trying to make sense of Sunday's result. I can tell you exactly what happened. Tszyu has been found out, Zarafa fired. I've been saying for a long time the guy he isn't who everyone thinks he is. But Tszyu, he has a great hype team around him, and he believed it. He added, he believed his own hype and got found out. As you can see now, he's nothing like his father. Tszyu talked and this is what happens. He came into this fight saying he was going to fight Canelo, saying he was going to fight Crawford, fight Charlo, yet he forgot about the guy who was fighting at the weekend. An undefeated champ who was right in front of him. Tim was fighting a genuine world champion, and he overlooked him. Keith Thurman discussed Tszyu's abilities, emphasizing his confidence when signing the contract. He remarked that there was nothing special about Tszyu, mentioning that Bakhram Murtazaliev and his trainer claimed Tszyu was a cookie-cutter opponent made for Murtazaliev. Thurman noted that they were able to prove their point in the fight.
You know, I mean, look what the left hook did, man. You know, I was obviously confident when I signed the contract. I said there's nothing special in what Tszyu brings to the table. Earlier this week, because I was on the analytical side this evening, earlier this week, I got to interview all the fighters, and, you know, Bakhram clearly said that him and his trainer said that there's nothing special about Tszyu, and that Tszyu is just cookie cutter made for Bakhram, and not only were they able to say that, but they were able to prove it.
Furthermore, Lou DiBella gave his thoughts on the matchup. Perhaps the worst career decision-making for a star-level kid ever, he wrote. Horrible promoter, manager, corner judgment, both 1, in allowing Tim to continue in the Fundora fight, and 2, following that with a beast like this guy, who brought no gate or name recognition to the fight. Dan Rafael also shared his thoughts. He wrote, Tszyu down again in round 3, takes a beating in the follow-up, and corner throws in the towel. Murtazaliev blows him away and retains the IBF 154 title, an absolute kicking of the highest order, complete and utter destruction. Chris Mannix remarked that Tszyu's performance was a sobering reality check, highlighting Murtazaliev's dominance and the clear path ahead for him in unifying the division. He wrote, Tszyu just absorbed an absolute beating from Murtazaliev. Wow. Tszyu dropped 4 times in 3 rounds before his corner mercifully threw in the towel. Statement win for Murtazaliev, who will undoubtedly look to unify in the future. Sub-Zero expressed shock at Tszyu's performance, noting that although he picked against him, he didn't expect such a devastating KO, especially after Tszyu was dropped 5 times. He wrote, wow, I am in shock. I picked against Tszyu tonight, but I didn't expect this kind of KO. Dropped 5 times? Come on, man. Hamed remarked that Tszyu suffered a significant defeat, being dominated by Bakhram Murtazaliev, who delivered multiple heavy knockdowns throughout the fight. He wrote, Tszyu took a bad beating. Congratulations to Bakhram Murtazaliev. Tszyu got dominated. Those were all heavy knockdowns. Tszyu has initially been cleared of any serious trauma, but has delayed his return to Australia to recover from his brutal beatdown in Florida. Tszyu was left heavily concussed from his battering at the hands of ruthless Russian Bakhram Murtazaliev in the weekend's IBF super welterweight mismatch. Tszyu's brother Nikita eventually threw in the towel midway through the 3rd round after Australian boxing's golden boy was sent crashing to the canvas 4 times at the Caribe Royal Resort in Orlando. As Team Tszyu pondered the fallen world champion's next move, No Limit boxing boss Matt Rose said the 29-year-old's health and welfare must must come first. Most importantly, he's woken up okay, Rose told AAP on Monday. Probably more than anything is the mental process of going back what happened last night. Physically, he's a lot better today. Obviously had a concussion last night, but he went to hospital. We wanted him to go for precautionary reasons. He added, he was okay from that point of view, so he'll rest up for a couple of days now. Once he gets back to Australia, we'll do some more testing to make sure he's okay. The most important thing when you're in fights like that is to ensure you do the right checkups. As speculation already swirled that Tszyu would finally settle his differences in a grudge match with fellow Australian Michael Zarafa, Rose said it was far too early to make a call on his charge's next move. "I'm not a doctor. I can't answer those questions," Rose said, when asked if the Sydney boxer needed an extended layoff before entering the ring again. "It will be purely up to where Tim's at, and from a medical point of view when he can fight next, I'm not sure." Meanwhile, Bakhram Murtazaliev openly called out Jermall Charlo, Errol Spence, Sebastian Fundora, and Terence Crawford for a fight at 154 pounds. He stated that he is eager for victory, no matter who his next opponent may be.
Any interest in fighting Jermall Charlo?
Там, я говорю, мне без разницы, с кем драться. Если же не получится договориться, у кого есть пояса, мы будем выбирать из более лучших доступных бойцов. Поэтому будет это Чарло, будет это Crawford, будет это Fundora, Spence.
So what are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.